You're listening to Cattywampus.
Final Fantasy 15 is not a good game.
Good sound check. Good sound check.
Bold!
You go fishing and then nothing happens.
So what do we do today?
We tried to play System Shock 2.
Tried because it was too awesome for us to handle?
Or more specifically, it was too awesome for more than 3 computers to handle at a time.
I don't think it was the computer.
Yeah.
It was my lack of will.
It was your fault.
I think
It was
it
a
was
personal
through
problem.
that. If you hadn't gone back to that goddamn door, we could have kept going.
I didn't want to keep going.
I was having fun shooting test monkeys.
Yeah, that was really fun trying to get that started. We had some desyncs where some people couldn't get past the first part of the game, and then we had people not being able to join the lobby, and then we figured out that the game runs just fine if you only have 3 people. So we did that, and David sat out.
Brian, you streamed it live on Twitch.
Yep.
And I watched it.
Yep.
In the room with you.
You and like 4 other people.
Well, we're all pretty big stands of
Yep.
@Clonic. Did you just hesitate because you realized your name sounds like Colonic?
Yeah. Oh no, it sounds like 50,000.
And you're
other
like,
things.
oh no, I've made
Oh,
a terrible
no,
error over
it's-
the last 20 years.
It's always Klondike Bar. That's always the one I get.
You get Klondike Bar?
Klondike
That's probably because
Bar.
they're reading it, but if you just hear it, you're like, did you just say Colonic?
Yeah, I've played System Shock before. When they put it out on Good Old Games, it's fun, but it is very dated and.
When did it come out?
99.
That's something, actually, for how it looked, that's pretty impressive because Unreal was 97, right?
Yeah.
So
it was
within 2 years, it was a substantial leap.
I'd say the animations are some of the worst.
Yeah.
But
They were
the,
Star Fox 64 level quality.
They put a lot of effort into, I think, like the level design
The
for
level,
sure.
the level design is a headache, honestly. But
Like,
we spent a lot of time just trying to find each other
Yeah, the
until we realized there
architecture
was a
was
map.
architecture's pretty poor on that.
Well, at least they had the foresight to put, not in the mini map, which I think you do access in single player, but they did have the foresight to put a player marker with color coding that was consistent. Ooh. So we could try to find each other. I mean, that was a thing.
I was purple.
I think I was red. You were blue.
I was blackout drunk. That was my color.
You were in the best location.
I truly lived the best version of System Shock 2.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Like all great ripoffs of William Gibson's Neuromancer, I played the role of William Gibson, who sat back drinking while everyone else debated what it was about.
I've actually beaten this game before about a decade ago. I played it on co-op over the internet with some friends from Europe, actually. And aside from this one
So
notorious
metropolitan of you.
glitch,
The way you were like, of Europe.
well, they were all my coding
Whoa,
friends
what
are
a
from
fancy
Europe.
man here.
Netherlands,
Travels the world.
France, Great Britain. That's where they were all from.
Many countries.
You
You're a
know.
man of the world. I'm a man of the people, but you're fine.
You know, I remember there was a problem with the game where it would crash randomly. It was like a desync error.
You don't say.
Well,
Kind of like what we had.
Well, we had it worse somehow.
fascinating.
Wait, you suddenly remember a problem of it crashing frequently as we tried to play it all day, and you're like, I don't know what's going on.
No, it occurred to me as I was doing the test setup before everybody showed up. I was doing a test and I was like, oh, wait. There were some problems with the netcode in this game. And those problems occurred like when you switch levels and when you save the game. And you want to save the game because the network host can actually resume the save game. Everybody that was playing before can reconnect and they're all in the same area. We had a different kind of issue today where we couldn't even get our lobby to start properly. And we were desynced, even though we were all in the same local area network. Like, we're all sitting right here on the same connection. And
That's true. We're all here together.
which somehow got worse performance than when I played with my overseas buddies, way back.
It's because unlike your weird European friends, we're here for you, Corey. We're the best of friends.
But it's not like other RPGs where, like, okay, you fire your bow and your bow skill gets better over time. It's you get these like upgrades that you pick up, or you finish like a mini quest and you get these upgrades. And you have to find a station, and then you get to pick what attributes you're putting that into. So if you start off as someone that uses guns, you could say, oh, I want to use the psionic powers. I want to be like, Bioshock. I want to be able to do that. You could do that later. You could just start putting a bunch of points into that. You could change your playstyle. You could have like your own quote-unquote hybrid class, I guess, because there's no predefined classes, really.
So you said Bioshock with a harumph there. You said this is created by the people who did Bioshock?
Well, actually, yes. The team that built this game later went on to go and not the entire team. That would be a lie. But most of the team did.
And
actually
you never
do
lied,
Bioshock.
Corey.
No comment. But no, a lot of the team actually did went on they actually did BioShock. I don't think the same team did BioShock 2. I think that was actually a spin-off company under...
Yeah, the BioShock and BioShock Infinite are like considered the actual sequels, right? BioShock 2 is like
Right.
Yeah, just
redheaded stepchild or
skip
whatever.
Skip 2.
But so everybody says,
But this game was actually built. It was not supposed to be a sequel to System Shock. I still haven't played the original. It was actually just built as a standalone game, and then EA decided, actually, it's a sequel to System Shock.
in their infinite wisdom.
Yeah. And I mean, this is in the late 90s. EA was... They were getting big, but they say, screw your creative direction. We're doing this.
I know they're also making a remake.
Yeah.
Or they are, or they were.
It's
I
rumored.
heard that it got canceled at some point.
It's rumored. The cancellation's rumored. The remakes
No,
rumored.
it's still on track. I don't think it's been canceled, but it's been retooled and restarted and rethought at least 2 or 3 times since they announced it.
I mean,
They put this game on GOG, and then they announced that they were going to be making a remake of System Shock 2 as well as a System Shock 3.
well, here's my question: is it a remake or a remaster?
It was supposed to be a actually,
it
I
was
think
a-
it was supposed to be a remake from the ground up.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not like they just went through it and updated the engine, upgraded the
No,
assets.
because you can already do that. There's a mod.
Right,
that
there's
makes
mods
it,
for
yeah.
that. But are we talking like the kind of quality we can expect from like StarCraft remastered? Because I gotta say, I was really disappointed when they sold that as a finished product. It looks marginally better than like the '96 release of StarCraft.
Wait,
I don't
why-
know if
why
you're
were
aware
you-
of this, but you're allowed to release unfinished games now.
Wait, why are you disappointed?
For several years, yeah.
I'm confused by your statement.
So StarCraft remastered.
You said that you were disappointed
by the
but that it
quality
looked-
of StarCraft's remaster. You know, it's been 20 years, and the game only looks like it came out in 99 instead of 96. It's stupid how low quality StarCraft remastered looks compared to its original. Like I would expect like a game released in 2017, 2018 to look kind of like at least StarCraft 2, right?
They said they were going to rebuild it.
I don't think it's ever gonna see the light of day. How well did BioShock Infinite sales do versus projections? That's a good metric for if they'll actually do it.
Was BioShock Infinite not a hit?
Actually, from what I remember, it sold fairly well, but
Was it good enough for
pause.
EA?
As I recall, this was the narrative. It rebuilt a lot of goodwill after BioShock 2.
As of June 1st, 2015, it topped over, and it was at 11 million sales. So
Yeah.
I don't.
Pretty bad,
Yeah,
11
pretty
million.
shitty.
I mean, it got a trilogy sale for me on the PlayStation.
They did do some DLC as well.
Those aren't Red Dead numbers. Cancel it.
So Hollywood Reporter does this article, and they do it about, I don't know, once a year, where they go, are video games taking over movies? And they've done it since 2004, because every once in a while a game outgrosses a movie.
Yeah.
Well, by November 7th, Red Dead had already peaked 17 million copies. So,
Yeah, but it's also the most expensive Western ever made by about a factor of 10.
Yeah.
I mean, Grand Theft Auto 5 was the most expensive game ever
I
made.
mean, the Ridiculous Six wasn't that?
No,
No?
they didn't spend hundreds of millions of dollars. I mean,
Are you
I
sure?
hope to Christ they didn't.
It was Adam Sandler. I can only assume it cost on the order of $500 million.
It was the avatar of its day.
Well, a lot of System Shock 2 fans got really excited when BioShock was announced,
Yeah.
teased, and then when the game came
plus,
out,
like, Shock's in the name is. I'm not just trying to be shitty. Is that like not a coincidence? Is
it's not a
I'm sure
coincidence.
on
It's supposed.
purpose,
It's
yeah.
supposed to make you think these are connected, right?
Oh yeah, and it was called a spiritual successor because it wasn't like, oh, here's the sequel to System
Yeah.
Shock 2. It's here's a game with similar elements in a completely different setting.
And
And
Very similar to Dark Souls and Demon Souls.
Right.
and
Oh yeah,
Bloodborne.
yeah. But narratively, is there any connection
No.
between? So even in BioShock
Yeah,
Infinite with
actually,
the Infinite
no.
Worlds, there's no System Shock.
so
Reference?
BioShock 1 and System Shock 2 actually share the same story plot and twists. But we didn't get that far because we crashed when Brian decided to double back to the first
yeah,
zone.
but it's like a Lion King Hamlet thing.
Right. It's like here's a classic, here's a plot twist. Oh, someone you
Yeah.
thought was your friend was actually an enemy. And then, actually, even worse is this person you didn't even know about. They've been hiding in the woodwork, and they're the master mind behind this whole shenanigan, and you got to go
I-
take them down.
I do think BioShock is still one of the best narrative first-person shooters.
Right. Well, if you ever
Like
finish
it-
System Shock 2,
Do
you
you-
can see...
Do you prefer BioShock or BioShock Infinite?
Probably BioShock.
Really?
Yeah,
Interesting.
I thought Infinite was fine.
You're not alone. Most people agree
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah.
I'm the opposite. I prefer Infinite.
Yeah, I think if I didn't have to deal with fucking Elizabeth or whatever the whole
See, but
whole game.
then
Yeah, but
there's
she
the
wasn't
ba-
a problem.
She
It's
wasn't-
not like she gets
wasn't-
killed and
she
you have to go
wasn't-
resurrect
yeah,
her or
she wasn't
whatever.
that annoying, but
She
I
gets
don't
killed.
know. Something
At what
about-
point does she
No,
get...
I'm saying it's not like you have to deal with that like
Yeah,
other like
okay.
escort type games
Yeah.
or missions.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh no,
You just
the
have to
MVP
deal-
is dead. You failed the
You just have
mission.
to deal with all the story she's handing you.
Yeah.
She just throws you guns in combat. What's wrong with
She
that?
throws
Throws
you
you guns
guns
and
and
ammo
money.
and money.
Opens up portals and stuff. You know, all
I mean,
the cool stuff.
I'm a pretty
Spoilers.
I'm a pretty nihilistic person, so as a result, Infinite is way more up my alley than the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I liked the story more in Bioshock 1. I did like the gameplay more in Infinite.
I see. I'm the other way around. I actually liked
I
the
thought-
gunplay in the first one more.
Yeah, I thought Infinite cleaned it up a lot better.
It was faster. I mean, that was the biggest thing, is that Infinite touted itself as being a way faster. That rail combat system was a way quicker way to be
It
able to
did
move around
feel-
an arena than...
It did feel a little Time Crisis.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It did. I remember a couple times being like, "This is like Time Crisis." But having said that, though, like I just think the overall, for me, the overall experience, I definitely preferred Infinite, just because I don't know. There's just something about it. The whole the way the mechanics, the world, the narrative, the way it all kind of clicked together, the ending, it all just felt like a really cohesive thing. Whereas the first BioShock kind of reminded me of like it's like a band's first album where you're like, there's a lot of great stuff here. I don't know that it really amounts to something cohesive at the end, but there's a lot of great stuff here, and that's kind of how I'd compare the two.
Yeah, because I would
I don't
definitely
know if
say
that's
that...
apt, but
Well, yeah, and I would definitely say that Bioshock Infinite, in terms of a narrative, had a much tighter story, and it felt like it had a better ending.
You could say Infinite was more on rails.
Yeah, that's true, but Bioshock...
I think
To be honest, they kind of blew their load for the story about halfway through the story.
Yeah.
you get the twist, and then they don't have anything else.
Yeah, that's...
Not true. Sorry.
In the first BioShock?
So System Shock 2 and BioShock also share this trait where you can just play through the main story and try to blitz through as quick as you can, and that's fine. But if you decide to repeatedly go off the beaten path, find audio tapes or meet characters that you would not have otherwise met, and there are plenty of characters in BioShock 1 that you may not even know exist in the game, because if you just follow the objectives, go from point A to point B to point C, now you're down at the level, now you go. If you just keep doing that, you're going to miss a lot of, I'm going to say it, the lore. And there is a lot of active lore. Like, what's happened in Bioshock's setting, even, for instance, it just happened. It's not like the city's been long decayed. Everything's happened fairly recently. Everything is fairly recently started to go to chaos. And that's why you're able to explore some parts of the city. And System Shock 2 is kind of similar, where you happen to wake up out of your cryopod just after shit hits the fan. And sure, things are already pretty bad. If you got out of your way, no, there were stories that were happening before you even got out of your cryopod that were still going on after that. But there was a double back element too that Bioshock had, Infinite didn't. So you could go back to any other zone and you could try to look for like maybe that missing tape, maybe that missing plasmid, some atom, maybe try to take on that Big Daddy you didn't have the power to do in System Shock 2. This system was even more prominent, maybe since it's an older game. You might find a weird thing, you have to research it in order to do damage to this type of creature.
Well, I get that. I'm just talking about core story as a whole, like the binding narrative that carries the entire overarching story. When you get to Bioshock and you get to the revelation of you've been manipulated this entire time and you have trigger words and all that stuff, after that it's all kind of downhill for Bioshock 1. There's not really, because then it's, hey, let's introduce a random character that you didn't know about, but they're the real bad guy. Whereas Bioshock Infinite keeps ramping up with more and more just weird shit.
Well, it feels like BioShock is a game that has had philosophy injected into it, and BioShock Infinite is a story that was turned into a game.
Yeah.
If you think about it chronologically, I mean, System Shock 2 being the oldest of these, their core focus was clearly always on the new awesome RPG system. It's, you have to double back and do all this research. Bioshock 1, they were kind of going more towards like, I don't want to say Halo-esque, but Halo was definitely a very prominent figure in the FPS market and the console market at the time. And you're not wrong in that, Infinite has a better fleshed out story. And I don't know, even sometimes on rails, it's not like you really double back a lot in Infinite. You really don't. But that doesn't need to happen. And I think that's what they also kind of like make clear. Like, you don't have to go back and do all this. Things have happened. Things have changed. Sometimes permanently. Like, it doesn't make sense to have doubling back in a game that involves, cross-dimensional portals.
From what I can gather, because, we played a grand total of 30 minutes of this before Brian fucked it up for everyone.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Infinite load screen.
Whoa.
Gotta love it.
Whoa. Brian, how could you? Whoa.
I mean, if I knew that I could fuck it up by pushing that one button, I would have done it
earlier.
You
I would've
pressed
done it
that
like
button
an
3
hour
times,
earlier.
Brian. You pressed it 3 times.
We ran around the same
like
two
in this-
areas for
It's
like
like
5 minutes.
It's like in The Simpsons where you're like, well, your T65 is fine. You just cut to you pouring beer right into the computer.
Yeah.
Oh God!
I
System Shock 2 is down.
I really enjoyed System Shock 2 by myself back in like 2015, but I did not have any fun with the co-op. I thought the co-op was shit.
That's because it really feels like co-op was definitely an afterthought in this game.
It isn't meant to be to be
everything. It's all personal loot, so nothing shared.
It's meant to be a very slow,
Listen to you guys.
atmospheric and exploring game.
See, what you don't like about it's what I like about it. So you're encouraged to have diversity. Like, have someone do psionics, have someone do engineering and repairing. Like, you've only got so many skill points in the game. Having someone just put their talents into that and make sure that, if your gun breaks, hand it to that one guy. He'll fix it 100%. And then now you've got the ability to get better guns. You can use your psionic abilities. You don't use ammo. I found ammo. Hey, I'll give it to the guy with the gun. There is an actual cooperative element that doesn't happen to personalized loot. Thanks, Blizzard. That we've all gotten so used to. Like, you have to cooperate.
Shots fired.
In a true,
Shots fired. Slow down, son.
You have to truly cooperate. It's not like other co-op games where everybody just gets their own copy of the rocket launcher.
Besmirch the good name of Blizzard.
Welcome to Cattywampus Podcast, where we shit on Blizzard.
Yes,
But you guys have phones.
For yet another week, we fight. We fight
find a way to
Blizzard.
shit on Blizzard.
I'll always find a way.
Man, you hate Blizzard.
I'm getting there. There.
You're there.
You're downtown there, bro.
Not for nothing, Corey, but it's been recorded. I have factual evidence you hate Blizzard.
Any cast you have been on, you found a way to shit on Blizzard.
You hate
to be
Blizzard.
fair, I've done it most of the time myself.
You know what that reminds me of? How much I hate Blizzard.
Kinda. That's
Yeah.
Basically, here's what I know about you, Corey. For fans of the podcast at this point, because I'm sure there are fans. 2 things about Corey.
That's a bold statement, sir.
That's
Two things
where
about
you're
Corey.
wrong,
I'm
kiddo.
confident. I'm a confident man. 2 things about Corey. He loves Linux. He hates Blizzard. Those are the only 2 things you need to know.
Would Blizzard please put out a Linux client or Battle.net? Please? It doesn't take a lot of
Boy, has there ever been a statement that is more Corey than that one
Please?
sentence that just happened?
Please?
I like
Hey,
how we
Blizzard,
just-
fuck you, give me Linux.
Yeah, you just profess that you've spent every cast spending at least 5 minutes shitting on Blizzard, and then you asked them for something.
That is your tombstone. That is
Please do
on
this.
your tombstone. Hey, Blizzard, can I have a Linux client? Fuck you.
Yeah.
Corey.
Literally, you're...
No, you got the order wrong. It's fuck you. Can I have a Linux client?
No, you basically just looked at Blizzard and went, fuck you, pay me.
I wouldn't say no to that. But yeah, I really like the cooperative. Like, you have to cooperate in co-op mode. Everybody picks the same class. Like, everybody picks Marine. Everybody gets assault rifles. Well, there's only so many bullets in the game, and that's not very resourceful. Like, you're gonna miss the opportunity to use like psi injectors as you find them. No one can use them. It's missing ammo. And this is a game where you have to make your shots count. You have to be really mindful about your resources. And even today, like a lot of survival games, like they don't really like enforce that. In Left 4 Dead, great sort of semi-recent example, like you have like these really powerful weapons like assault rifles and shotguns and all that, but like if you just go through the level of that, you'll eventually run out of ammo, and then you get these freaking awesome pistols that can shoot through like 5 zombies at once. It's like, why not just use the pistols? And if you play online, most people do. They just use melee weapons and pistols because infinite ammo. I'll just keep swinging. These guys are weak. I like that you have to manage your resources, and it's really hard in single player, I think. I enjoyed the challenge. The thing is, the game hasn't aged well. It's not really stable. The netcode is shit. There's not even a browser. You have to know the IP address of who you're connecting to. Good luck even getting past the lobby. And even then, the game's going to crash if you save. If somebody decides to go back to the first zone repeatedly.
I'd say
Who
the
did
game.
that?
Ryan?
Who did it?
I'd
Who
say
did
the
it?
game.
Who did that?
Probably me.
Who did
I
it?
might have done it on purpose.
Did you?
You just want to watch the
I,
world
I
burn.
wish I did it on purpose.
We could have gotten so much
but no,
not
the-
further because we were so stuck in ring of
I'd
circles
say-
anyway.
No, actually, we had just come up with a system on how we were going to move forward. We'd finally started being cooperative. I was going to use a shotgun. Corey was going to use the pistols. Brian was going to use psionics. It was beautiful. We were on track
And David
to
was gonna
succeed.
drink.
And then Brian hit the button.
But no, I wouldn't say the game isn't stable, and the game has not aged well. But if you get mods, for it, you can make the game look better.
There is a stability patch that, in retrospect, I probably should have applied.
Uh-huh.
The only reason I didn't No.
It's all the comments. All the comments can be like, when you do that stability
Why
Let
didn't
me
you do
explain.
that?
Let me explain.
Well, if you did
Because
the patch,
when
you
you
guys
introduce
could've
new
played the game.
code into a development environment without thoroughly testing it, you run the risk of different problems you don't know how to prevent. So in the case of System Shock,
Debug it.
I know that loading into a new level can sometimes crash. So I
Debug it,
know
Corey.
before we hit the level button to save, and now we're okay.
Compile.
Unfortunately, somebody kept going into the next level without saying anything, so I couldn't create a save. So I didn't account for that either. My bad. But I didn't want to try something out that like maybe didn't work.
I'm sorry,
it
did
also-
you just say
there's also-
that you should say my own personal flaw is what Brian did? Is that what you just said?
There's also not
Sí,
there's
más
not
o
a
menos.
there's not a thing that says this is a button that will crash your game.
It's literally
It's a
the
shiny
button
green
in the
button.
room we spawned in when we went to the second level. It's the button right on the door.
It's a shiny green
with
button.
the words
It
airlock
says,
Gonna
on
push
it.
it.
Push me.
There's a button. I'm
Yeah.
gonna fucking push
Right.
it.
And it's right click. It's real easy.
If you just walked 5 steps forward, we wouldn't have had this problem.
I do think we only made it like not even 5%.
Oh, God,
into,
no.
into that game.
Yeah,
Not
that's
even.
true. We did not make a dent.
In many ways, it feels like we just never left the tutorial.
We really didn't. Also, I noticed. Do you always have?
He's a
Was it
scientist.
29 health?
So no, that's actually related to your endurance stats. So if you keep getting those cyber upgrade modules, which you do by completing the quest, which by the way was in your PDA, the soldier's most important tool is his PDA.
Hold on. I'm here in
Yep.
2018. What's a PDA?
Okay,
Public display of affection.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
so all soldiers. So it's the distant future.
Had you had made out with Corey like he asked in game, it would have been fine.
So in the
Yep.
in the distant future, all Marines need their most important tool, a BlackBerry.
right. So you have this little you have this little computer on you called a PDA
Soldiers,
or
pull out
personal
your
data
palm.
assistant, and
your palm.
that's what lets you do the hacking.
Pilot.
I spent a lot of time with that screen open because I picked a character that had like hacking and repairing skills. So you always have the PDA open when you're doing that. And in
In
there,
the Navy, we get Newtons.
and there's a tab called emails, and on the emails tab is your current quest, and it tells you what to do, the last thing that you were told to do. And by the way, you get to a point in this game where that page doesn't update anymore because you're not having your handheld. You got to figure this out on your
I
own.
can't believe
Game
the
takes place in the far off future of 2005.
I can't believe it. Yeah, I can't believe in the distant future of 2004 that the PDA would stop working at some point.
It's funny because this game's supposed to take place in 2114.
So they thought we'd still have like PDAs.
2114. That is ballsy on their part.
Right.
That was a bold.
Talk
prediction.
about confidence. Talk about overconfidence.
When did,
My
At
At
God.
least Dick
When does
Tracy assumed
Alien-
I'd have a TV on my
Say
wrist.
what?
When does Alien take place? Or
Fuck if I know.
Is it 20XX? Isn't that what they say?
No, that would be Mega Man.
Well, I think
Where they
I
where they
think you're-
basically say like it is future. Don't worry about the
I think
number.
generally speaking, you're better off saying that a movie takes place much further into the future than closer, because so many movies are like, it's the year 2004 and it was made like 1985, and I'm like, boy, you were confident that the future would be super amazing.
Doesn't Star Trek take place in like 23 something?
I think it's the 23rd century
Yeah.
and the 24th century. It's
yeah,
like
it's,
Star Trek,
it's
TNG.
way out
and
there.
then
Which is
Star,
good.
and then Star Wars is just
It's a
It
long
was
time ago.
a
The galaxy
long
far,
time
far
ago, but
away.
somehow way in the future.
So like Battlestar Galactica.
but it was in a different
huh?
galaxy, so you know.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
could,
my
be
bad.
whenever. So technically speaking, Alien takes place. I love how. By the way, just to pull the curtain back, I went, when does Alien take place? And everything for the last 20, the first 20 articles are, how does Alien Covenant fit into Alien? I don't fucking care. Just tell me when Alien takes place.
Alien
you
Covenant's
sons
not a real
of
movie.
bitches.
Just go to the Wikipedia article.
I'm looking. Just relax, everybody.
Literacy is hard. Shut up.
I'm gonna get there.
They have their own
Alien,
wiki?
Yeah, Alien has its own. Of course,
they do.
Alien has
Of course
its
they
own
do.
wiki.
1995.
Ridley Scott updates it daily.
Yeah, he keeps
Lead
retconning.
contributor.
Yeah, and he keeps retconning. Oh my god, just tell me what fucking year does Alien take place in?
He
When
deleted it.
does the
Did
movie
you
Alien
Google that question? What year does
take
Alien
place?
take place?
After 57 years in hypersleep.
Okay.
The sole survivor of the Nostromo, work officer Ellen Ripley awakens. Oh my god. Alien takes place in 2122.
So Alien takes place after System Shock.
Yeah, but only like 8 years later if you
Yep.
want to be official with your sci-fi timeline.
To be fair,
Are they in the
neither
same
one of
universe?
those had very effective technology. If we're going,
I mean, Alien had like. Why am I defending this?
I mean, so System Shock 2.
why am I even trying?
Well, hold
Why
on.
bother?
Because System Shock 2, like the premise, although I skipped past all the cinematics this time, you're in the military, as you know, clearly determined by that entry level we love to play over and over, and your ship is docked to another ship So it's connected, right? It's latched on to another ship that's going to do its first FTL
It's
jump.
codependent.
So where was I going with this?
I have no fucking clue.
Don't look at me, Corey. Don't you fucking look at me. I could barely find out when Alien took place. Don't ask me to track
I was
what
done
you
with
were
this
leading.
when Brian hit that button.
What you were leading
I ate a
to?
muffin.
I
It was
don't know.
delicious.
Fuck the co-op for this game. I don't care for it.
Well, you
But
go play solo.
You should play System Shock 2 with the mods or wait for the remake.
So which mods do you recommend?
I can't remember the names.
You
of them.
should
It's
play-
just
Great
it's
recommendation.
It's an overhaul mod. It's
Is it like one of those
graphical-
overhaul like?
We should play the RPG, just the actual D&D riff cyberpunk game.
I'm down with that.
In prep for 2077 or whatever the fuck they're going to call it.
I mean, I've been wanting to play, like, Netrunner or something along those lines for a
Netrunner.
while.
But what about Shadowrun?
Fuck it,
No,
talk to
you
me.
love that 360
No,
shadow.
I love the new ones too. The Shadowrun Returns was a fucking great game.
Yeah, play that, play Matrix Online, come back to me.
Ugh.
Does anybody know
Are
if
you-
there
are you-
are private servers for the Matrix Online? I'm very curious about this now.
David should know.
No, David does not know.
If anybody here
It's
would
been
know,
a
it would
decade.
be
Leave me
David.
alone. I certainly didn't dress like Morpheus a lot.
So, David, what were your impressions as a
As a
once
viewer.
player and then a spectator?
So this to me, like what Unreal is, I think to you, System Shock 2 is to me. This was the game where I was like, oh, this is amazing. This is like one of the coolest things I've ever seen. It was early on in the so I was playing the Cyberpunk RPG. I had a D&D group and we were bored of D&D, so we switched to Cyberpunk. And so System Shock 2 became a really fun like diversion. It's the Cyberpunk aesthetic of the future is technology and we're gonna jack you in and we're gonna
Implants.
and changing the chemistry of your brain and like doing all that stuff like and AIs are your villains and your lovers and your protagonists. Like it's all the aesthetic. The aesthetic is what like draws me to it. You're talking about like gameplay in 2018. No, this is a disaster. Like, this
Yeah,
doesn't
no-
work at
no
all.
bueno.
But it's like, man, I love this world. Like I love the world that is created by Cyberpunk.
I mean, I'll tell you something. Like, I played this game a couple years after it came out. That's when I was doing my first co-op run. And even then, back then, not that old at this point, a couple years, and I thought, this game looks like dog shit.
Yeah.
And I thought that when the game was relatively new. So to say, in my opinion, it's aged just fine. It still looks the same to me. It still looks just about as bad as an FPS can look that's not, like a
It
sprite
aged
based like
perfectly.
Doom.
It looks just as bad as it did the day it was released.
Well, I mean,
Exactly.
in 2001, 2002, we at least by that point had the Dreamcast had come out and the PS2 had come out, and both of them looked like they could run games better.
Yeah.
Right. And here's the
Yeah.
other thing.
I
Bios-
distinctly remember Sonic Adventure looking better than this.
I don't know. You
And
go
then
back,
Bioshock-
go back and look at those because like I think back to the first time I played a PS2. It was SSX, and I thought that game was the best graphics could ever get. I saw like the snow being carved up by the snowboard,
Whoa.
and I was like, "This is it. This
You've
looks like real
defeated
life."
1080.
This is it, Chief.
I was like, what is this? And I got a PS2 and I played it a bunch and I was like, this is great. Now we're here at 2018 and I went back and played SSX 2 on either GameCube, PS2, I can't remember, and it looks like shit.
Bro, go back and
like-
play SSX 3. That game's still pretty.
Brian, which is better, 1080 or SSX?
Snow
Ten-
Kids.
1080.
Oh,
Like,
you guys want to play Dark Summit?
Oh, Lord.
what the fuck is that?
What the
Fucking
fuck is that?
Xbox exclusive snowboarding spy game.
Why don't we just go snowboarding at
Yeah.
this point?
The deepest snow I've ever been in was like 1.5 feet, so...
Why does it matter?
No Nut November's over.
What is No Nut November?
Don't worry
Whoa.
about it.
I'm not
Similar
gonna.
to
what is-
Bowsette.
What is
Okay. You really don't know. It's a celibate challenge for the month of November.
why?
Um,
Because people's lives are so boring. We need to challenge ourselves to
Yes.
to defeat our
Shaving-
own evolutionary
Not
impulses.
shaving
So
was
some people-
just
Yeah,
not
that,
enough.
No, but that's to raise money for cancer.
Is it? I didn't even know that.
No shave November. Yes,
Yeah,
that's
it
for-
was prostate cancer.
Yeah,
it
that-
was about men.
that's
It was
for-
about men's cancer awareness.
that's for a good cause. What's the point of not masturbating or fucking?
I don't remember where it originated from. It's
The
a great
internet,
source
like-
for memes, but this has something to do with like people that have like chronic masturbation issues. They'll go through this 30-day challenge, and then before you know it, the whole internet's doing it, and it's a big joke.
So what you're saying is that we've co-opted a month that's used for an actual addiction, and we're making fun of these people now.
Well, no, I mean in theory you can participate and be supportive. You see something, you think it's funny, you repost
Well, the
it, or you
problem
make
is
another
that
one.
No Nut November is actually harmful to the male prostate.
Also true.
So actually, co-opting
Actually,
that
you know
to raise
what?
money would probably be a bad choice.
Steve, what if this is another 4chan plot? Do you remember the iOS 7 makes your phone waterproof or microwave rechargeable campaigns? What if this is something else that just came out of their cauldron
Oh,
and
I'm
we
sure
all
it
just
did.
adopted it and accepted it as face
Oh, I'm
value?
absolutely sure it
Why
did.
is 4chan still around, given how toxic they are?
I mean, they're their own little
Because there's
toxic
got to
corner
be
of the web.
there has to be a place for red pill folks to go. Because anonymity plus public forum equals dickhead.
I mean, when
So-
you
You don't have
basically
to be anonymous anymore.
when
Yeah,
you
I
go
know.
into any message
But
board,
4chan allows you the ability to be anonymous. So
quote unquote anonymous.
yeah, and literally you are anon at that point.
Yeah,
So.
anybody that makes a post, you're by default you're anonymous and you have a number that's assigned to your post ID.
I think
It's mostly
I
red
think-
pill bullshit.
I think
gay
it's all
porn,
bullshit.
and child porn.
I think it's all
Oh,
bullshit.
good.
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, yeah.
haven't been on-
Tumblr gets easily shut down for child porn, but 4chan gets to just exist.
I haven't been on 4chan in years.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing: the posts are super volatile. So if you go to any of the boards and then let's say there's a thread that's at the top, go ahead and open that in another tab and wait about a minute, refresh. Go back a page. Go back another page. It's gone. That thread's gone. Everything is super volatile. That thing's already in the archive. It's been 6 minutes, and that post can't even be commented on anymore. Like, something has to be super active in the community to even stay on the message board. So it is crazy how volatile stuff is. And crap like CP falls through the cracks because of how volatile their front page is for each subboard.
How is this allowed?
Technically, it's not.
It's not, but the problem is what he's saying is that the board moves at such a rapid rate that by the time somebody notices it, it's already archived and gone.
It's
Archived to whom?
It's not archived.
It's not
It's not even
gone.
archived. It's
Yeah.
just gone.
Well, it's archived if an archive bot gets it. If other than that, like you have to have the URL specifically to be
There
able to pull
are-
it.
Yeah,
in all
they're not
threads.
saved locally on a server. It's just they're broadcasted, and as long as somebody keeps commenting on it, it continues to be broadcasted. But the minute you just ignore it and nobody pays attention to it, it falls into the ether.
If I'm going to this message board and I make a post or I comment on a post, in that very instant, anybody that goes to that board will see that post that I just commented on or just made, either one, as the top post. Everything else below that gets bumped down one. Now, anybody else that goes and makes a post or comments on an older post that's active, they will be placed right above my post, and now I move down to slot 2. The thing is, this is a really, really popular message board. So these posts that pop up are gone within minutes. They're completely gone. Like, there's a little page finder at the bottom. You can go back so many pages and find so many posts, but even that is super short-term memory.
Wait, when you say really popular, like what are we talking
There
about?
are thousands of posters in each subboard any given day.
I don't know how popular it is now, but it used to be.
it's still
You could
yeah.
post. Let's say you just posted a picture of a thumbs up and nobody cared about it. It would be gone in a matter of minutes.
Yeah, never happened.
That's what happened
It
with the
would-
photo that me
I
and
think-
Chris posted to you.
Yeah, I think there's like 10 pages total.
Yeah, I think it's 10. Like
And
10 or 9.
after 10 pages, if it makes it to the bottom of that, it's gone. Usually the top 3 pages are like the active posts.
And no one's archiving this?
There are websites that do.
There are archive bots, and there's also, like I said, there's those things called green text, where someone that finds one of these threads, they find
Just
it,
screen capped it.
you screen cap it, and then you like reorganize it so you can see like all the responses. You make a picture, and you can either put it like on. There's some Reddit subreddits that have this. There's Facebook groups that do this.
I'd say that 4chan is the fine line between normal internet and the dark web.
Yeah, it definitely rides. It's the last website that really kind of rides that line. That's not, just out and out a torrent site at that point.
It's that town on the edge of civilization before you get to the 1,000 plus miles of desert. Like it's there on the internet. It's
not
right
great.
on the edge.
It's not great.
And just like you'd expect,
I
everything.
mean, it was never great. Like,
No.
4chan was never good. It was just better than nothing, which is, we had that in Dig.
Yeah, we had that before Reddit.
Dig.
we had 4chan and we had Dig before there was Reddit, and now we have Reddit, so it just doesn't matter.
I can talk
Anyway.
about Dig Dug. It's a really fun game. That is like one of my favorite classics. I
I'll
don't
just
know
talk
why.
about Doug.
Doug is also a good show.
Doug's also a classic.
I don't know about the.
I really dig Doug.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm more of a Skeeter.
You're dismissed.
I'm more of a Skeeter man myself.
I was never really confused as to how race worked in that show, because everybody seemed to be a different color or shade.
Yeah.
I think the point is
And
it
yet
doesn't matter.
Skeeter seemed like he was supposed to be his black friend, but it didn't make any sense to me.
But then who was Roger?
I don't know. Like,
I think the point is it doesn't matter.
I guess
They didn't really have any like real stereotypes or anything. It was
No, not at all.
They just happened to have a different color. Yeah, Doug was good. I didn't like.
Yeah, Doug was cool.
Yeah, Doug's
I
fun.
didn't like the grown up Doug. I
There
saw
was a grown-up Doug?
I think there was, or maybe it was just
there
some
was
memes.
Doug when he moved to Disney.
I think maybe it was Doug on Disney. Disney Doug.
I don't dig Disney Doug.
David, have you not been to 4chan?
I mean, I've seen it briefly. You don't need to show me.
Yeah. Let's
I
take
don't
let's
wanna.
take
Just
a
hurt my
This is
computer.
no. This is like when I went to a no.
nah.
Poor
This is
van.
this is like
Let's-
this is like when I went to a party and he's like, "Let me show you this porn I started," and I was like, "This party is over."
This is a weird party, bro.
You should do your internet research, David.
Do you know how many writers have been arrested and they're like, "My child porn was for research." I'm not falling into that fucking game.
This is B. This is random.
I don't want a 4chan tour right now. I don't want to end this podcast with a tour of 4chan.
I kind of do.
I don't want. I don't know.
Now that I know that David's so against it, I kind of do.
Right?
I don't need the worst of society. I don't.
This isn't even the worst.
This is
When I
David.
was 12, I went to Rotten.com. I get it. Like, I've
It's
watched.
very similar to Rotten. Very
Yeah,
similar.
I don't need this shit.
It's like, what if Rotten was controlled by
I
a
haven't
bunch of
been- I haven't
teenagers?
seen a
It's more like what if Rotten.com had comments that were racist underneath the pictures.
I mean, at least Reddit got rid of places like people dying. Or, no, people dying's actually not a bad one.
People
Um,
dying
I'm
is
sorry, what?
hilarious. No, people dying.
People
is,
fucking dying
people
is one
fucking
thing.
dying?
Yeah,
Is
people
that-
fucking dying.
Is that the real one, or is that
No,
the one?
that's the cute one where
don't
it's
like
always
this.
like people fucking dying, but
Before-
it's like a kitten falling off of a fucking pillow.
Yeah.
Oh well, that's fine. I hope.
Before 4chan, we had this message board, which you
Oh, you're
used to
talking
have.
about something awful.
You used to
yeah.
have to pay money to get a license.
Corey's
to
over here
activate the
diving deep
forum.
into-
Oh, I'm not even. I'm on the surface, dude. You used to have to pay money to go in here. There's actually fun fact.
I'm gonna go ahead and assume this is where most of the Donald got their
Was
start.
was that a forum called Goons and Poons?
So
Why are we touring 4chan? This podcast has gone out of control.
No, that's our new podcast.
this
It's
isn't
Goons and
4chan.
I
This-
blame myself as the host of this podcast that I've let this go completely off the rails, and we are now touring 4chan.
It's a bit catty.
This isn't even-
No, we're out of.
It's a big
4chan.
cattywampus. Hey, I've been David.
I'm Steve.
It's a little too sexy in here. I gotta
A
back
little too
out.
sexy. I'm sexually attracted to Steve. I mean David. Sorry, just gotta. Ooh.
It's the first time that phrase has ever been uttered by anyone.
That's
ever.
not true. Oh, don't say yourself short, sir. There's many
Press all the
a
Fs.
people who would tap that. Let's not. You haven't. You may or may not
I
have.
found a fan.
You may or may not have met them. That's beyond me. But
One of Corey's European friends, maybe.
Perhaps.
oh yeah, all your friends.
He's a
from
man of
Europe
the world.
that are definitely real. We've never met them.
I'm Mr. Worldwide.
They do like swarthy men. I have a chance.
Okay, so Destiny 1, I never played. Just didn't have a PlayStation.
You didn't miss much.
Destiny 2 came out, got it on PC.
Whoa, fight.
Hey.
Do you like guns and money?
I love Guns and Money, and I love Borderlands, which is why I
Yeah.
thought I would love
Then
Destiny.
you'll like all looter shooters.
Looter shooters. Yeah, no, I played it. I think Curse of Osiris and Warmind. I played through those, and I quite liked it actually. I liked it a lot more than I thought I would. Got to the highest power level I could get to without rating.
But
Then
was it over 9,000?
380 something? I
Dead
think?
joke. I just had
I
to.
know. I know.
Wait, what is that joke?
That's an
It doesn't
old
matter.
Dragon Ball Z reference. That's a meme before your parents knew what memes were.
Yeah, but I quite liked it, and I played it even though I had the max level. The Crucible, the PvP mode was pretty fun. Reminded me a little bit of the older days of Halo, and the co-op mode, you know, the open world or squad up mode, that was also a lot of fun too. So actually, I liked the game a lot more than I thought I would. And then Forsaken hit, and I thought, awesome. This looks like a big expansion, and you know, all the old Destiny 1 fans are jumping up and down with some of these listed features, which I didn't look too much into. Blindly, I jump into it, buy the expansion, and immediately I'm mad because I'm getting better gear. I'm getting better gear, and I expect this from an MMO, right? Like you get an expansion, and like all your gear sucks. But the cool thing about Destiny is that you can take a weapon that you like, and you can infuse it with the recycled components of older, junkier weapons that you don't want anymore. So I've got a big collection of these, you know, old junk parts, and I'm like, okay, I'll just infuse my gear as I level up, and you know, I don't have to switch out this awesome semi-automatic rifle, or I can still use this exotic weapon that I really like. And the game basically said, "Fuck you," and I stopped playing.
I mean, to be fair, I'm still using a lot of guns from year one. There's still some guns from year one that are
Year one of Destiny 2?
year one of Destiny 2. Yeah, I don't like it any more than you do. I'm laughing.
In the year of our
So,
Lord,
and then-
Destiny 2.1.
So at this point, does Destiny 1 get year 15 updates? How?
No,
It's been
no,
five
Destiny
years.
has
I
been
think.
left to die, right?
Yeah, it's pretty much been left to its own devices.
That's shitty.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
That was always
either.
the
I don't
plan,
like it.
though.
That's another
Steve,
problem, which-
Steve, you spoke about this before, right? This was always the plan.
There was always the plan that
going to
there
be a
was
Destiny
going to
2
be.
and 3.
That's my biggest fear with Overwatch is that they make an Overwatch 2 and
I
say
don't
never
foresee
mind,
that
but I don't
being
see
a
that
thing.
happening.
I don't know
And
how they
I
would.
think Destiny, like Bungie, should learn. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I mean,
like,
that's not how World of Warcraft. You don't like lose
Mm-hmm.
all of your characters because a new expansion comes out.
The other thing is that Bungie walking into Destiny 1 had a rough idea of what they wanted to do for an online persistent world shooter, but they had never done it before. Nobody had really done a persistent online shooter. Even, because Warframe came out about the same time as Destiny 1 did.
I'd
It's
argue that
2013.
I'd argue that
Yeah.
Warframe has handled it better.
Oh, no, you're right.
Warframe is what Destiny should have been.
Yeah, but Warframe didn't have that sweet Led Zeppelin song in the marketing.
That's
so.
true.
If they
Or
had the
Nathan
money,
Fillion.
if they had the money, they probably would have. But
Isn't that the issue, right? Because if I came to you and marketed to you, hey, it's called Destiny, it's $60 a year, most people probably wouldn't. But if I trick you into spending $60 a year,
If you think about it, that's not even as profitable as what Blizzard's been doing in World of Warcraft for 15 years.
or
That's
or
true.
Overwatch.
Because World of Warcraft every 2 years to every 3 years, I think is the highest we've gone without a expansion. You pay. It used to be $40. The price has slowly gone up. I think it's $50. So you buy the new expansion.
No,
now you can
I think it's 39.
It's still 40, yeah.
No, it's not 40.
Yeah, it is.
It is not 40.
No.
this is just for an expansion.
Yeah, Battle
What's
for
your
Azeroth was 40
wait?
bucks.
What's
dude.
your yearly subscription?
I paid
cost, though?
50. And here's
Did
the
you
other
get
thing.
the collectors?
Here's the other thing,
for a
right?
while.
$15 a month, and then that price goes down chunk by chunk if you pay for longer durations. I think the max you can get is 6 months.
So if you buy a year, it's like $10 a month versus 15.
That's
for a month.
any subscription.
close
Well,
to
yeah,
that.
that's
Something
any
like that.
So at the end of the
subscription-based
at the end
service.
of 1 year, you'll end up paying, let's just say $120, and then by the time it's time for the next expansion, you've paid $240, assuming you bought the long term. Most people do month to month, like me. I play it for a month and then I quit for a few months, and then you got 40, I guess, for each expansion cycle, and that's World of Warcraft. And important to note here, this is an outlier. This is the only MMO that launched that in 2004. That is still actively profitable. A lot of
And-
other MMOs went free to play or dissolved.
Just to
Right.
confirm, World of Warcraft also has a cash shop, right?
Yes.
They do. It's for
Yeah.
cosmetics like
Yeah.
pets and mounts. And
and account services.
Sorry, did you say for pets?
Yeah.
you can have these little creatures follow you around in the world.
But of course.
And in one of the newer expansions, you can make them fight each other like not
In
Pokemon.
the first 4 expansions,
What, like
that
dog
would've-
fighting?
It's totally
in the
Pokemon.
first four, maybe 5 expansions, all of this was included
Kids
in the
these
game.
days.
All of this was obtainable by playing the game.
All the content was attainable by
In the
playing the
past
game.
2, maybe 3 years.
They introduced
but-
the cash shop right after Lich King.
Okay,
And
so
it was
after I quit, they basically said, "Yeah, you're paying money to play monthly. You're paying for expansions yearly by yearly.
It's every other year. Yeah.
But we also need more money. So give us $5 for this little fucking snowball to follow you around."
well, most
Welcome to the wonderful world of,
Of-
MTX,
of-
and that is
well-
here to stay.
Of video games today.
And the other thing is, most of the mounts aren't like super lore friendly either. Like in World of Warcraft, they're not. Oh, God, one of them. One of them is.
What do you mean by lore friendly?
Okay, so you're in a virtual world. You're depending on how you play. Like, I like the RP servers. Get involved, get engrossed. Almost D&D. Hey, I'm sort of here. So when I say lore friendly, I mean I'm playing a game where I'm in a forest with a bow. And I'm an archer in this fantasy
Okay.
world, and then all of a sudden a fucking M1 Abrams tank rolls through. That would be considered not lore friendly. That's immersion breaking.
You can craft a fucking motorcycle.
I was
in
gonna
that
say
game.
let me try something else. Let's say like Spike from Cowboy Bebop decides to watch Netflix once they add the show to Netflix.
Oh, like in the film SWAT in 2003. It's based on a show from the 70s called SWAT. At one point, they're watching SWAT, but the character's still named the same. So Colin Farrell is still named Street, and he's watching the character Street on TV. And I'm like, what the fuck does that mean?
Steve, is that St. James Street James?
Yeah.
And then
It is.
and then at the end, the actor who played Street pulls up in a van. He's 70s old. Goes, "You guys coming my way?" And I'm like, "Wait, I don't understand. Does that mean he broke out of the TV? Is this a Beetlejuice scenario? What just happened?"
Has the Candyman escaped his
So-
reality and found his way into
Right?
ours?
But-
Oh
so-
god, I was in theaters. I was like, I don't.
Look, here's a company I'm going to bring up that you guys might be aware of. CCP in Iceland.
They made RoboCop.
Yes.
No,
I believe that.
they made another MMO that's still around today.
Nice shooting,
although
son. What's your name?
Murphy.
Da 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 da.
It's
I
a
find myself saying that at the weirdest times.
Murphy.
I fix something on my first try. And I just go, Murphy.
It's so correct. One of the greatest cinema moments in history is the end of RoboCop. It's one of the greatest closing lines of any movie. Good shooting, son. What's your name?
Murphy.
Da 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 da. Credits just roll, and I'm like, oh, hardcore.
This other company is one of the other
Please
oldest
continue.
MMOs. They're called CCP. Their product is called EVE Online.
They made RoboCop, as we've all firmly
Yes, we've established this very well.
And an Ed 209.
They recently got
Possibly also a Yakuza ninja cyborg.
their model was
That jetpack RoboCop rode in the third movie. They made that.
we're getting there.
Anyway, tell me more about CCP's endeavors
Tell
after
me more.
RoboCop.
Yeah, tell me more. OCCP.
So they launched, I think, about a year or two after. I think it was a year after World of Warcraft. Their whole thing was spaceships instead of fantasy, whatever. They're still around today, and they still have a lot of subscribers today, and they still have a lot of active concurrent players, which is an important number because people that subscribe to the game but don't play it. Let's be honest here, your game's not successful. People just forgot to unsubscribe from your game. It's a piece of shit.
The
I'd be pretty
HBO model.
Right. So anyway, they had a model where every year, and then later on they changed it to every 3 months, they delivered an expansion that either had new ships, new skills, new areas you could go to, new activities, and then they refreshed it to be a bit more frequent, and then the updates were just smaller. And they did this for free, and that was their principle. Expansions shouldn't cost money. You're already paying a sub for the game.
They didn't do it for free. They still do it, right?
They still do it for free. The
Yeah.
expansions are free. The
I
only thing you have to
wish-
pay for is the sub.
I wish
And
more
your Excel.
online. I wish more online games would strive to be like them.
I know, and if
Because
only the model didn't ultimately fail as of 2
I-
months ago, because they just got bought by a Chinese gaming conglomerate.
Ooh, is
and
it Tencent?
Tencent.
Yay!
Yay! So
They're gonna
now,
own everything. I, for one, welcome our glorious Chinese overlords.
now they did have MTX in the form.
Hail China.
They did have MTX in the form of being able to convert what they called
Meow.
a game time card into an in-game currency. So you could take a game time card worth a month. You could sell it in the in-game market for in-game currency.
Yeah.
So the idea here was that this was going to discourage gold farming, as you know it. Basically bot servers that just mine a resource or kill NPCs and then sell everything. That was their only MTX. Then they added skins, and then as time's gone on, they just added more and more. And now it's at the point where, like, yeah, we got bought for a ton of money, so later. And they're going through the process now. So unfortunately, that model ultimately didn't work out to be amazing, but they made it, over a decade. That's a pretty good run for that model. My point is, Bungie wants to charge
Oh, yes.
every year, and on top of
Bringing
that,
us back on track.
back on track, because this is important. I don't want to get too invested in Forsaken because I'm like, you know what? If I actually get my gear all set up, and fucking Destiny 3 comes out, then all my progress meant nothing.
Just like real life.
Fuck that. In World of Warcraft, my character that I made
No, no,
10
no,
years
no, no.
ago, I can still log into now.
Right, right, right,
That's
right.
But
important.
you don't pay monthly for Destiny.
But Corey,
Technically.
it's also fictional in World of Warcraft.
Yes,
that
it is.
gear lives and dies in World of Warcraft.
So
So
Yep.
if World of Warcraft ends tomorrow, or you die tomorrow, it was completely meaningless regardless. So the idea of trying to find meaning in any of this
It's
is
not meaning, it's
I d-
persistence. It's the knowledge that if I take a
oh boy, that is the most chilling thing I've ever heard. There is no more hope for meaning. The only hope is persistence. Like, oh no,
so I do have.
we must preserve the meaningless. Like, why? I don't. Oh my God, why?
But
Like,
I do have something to
Brainiac.
state about it though. We're all adults. We've all worked for.
Ostensibly.
Debatable.
I guess we are, but we all work for companies who make money. We all get
I
paychecks.
hope.
I
I
think.
hope they make
Sure,
money.
we
I'm
work for
screwed if
companies
they
that
don't.
make money, in quotes.
But somehow or another,
Money.
this company has to make money to pay you. And
Right.
unfortunately, with how ambitious games are now, they have to make money. And they could either charge a ridiculous amount up front, or they could charge us, or the consumer that will pay for it, more money to get that money to pay their employees.
That's how we get Diablo
And-
immortal.
Well, that's
It sucks, but it has to happen. Otherwise,
Well,
you're not going
no
to be able
shit.
to get what
Well,
you want.
that's why MMOs aren't free, and that's why MMOs like
why
World of
freedom
Warcraft
isn't free.
don't just charge you for the expansion and then
costs a hefty
no
fucking
subscription.
fee.
It doesn't make sense
It-
to only charge for an expansion. And then imagine this. Imagine if in a game like WoW, every 3 expansions, they deleted all your characters and all the gear
Yeah,
and they
but-
reorder the entire world. Because that's what it looks like Destiny wants to do. That's the thing. You don't have to pay for it to,
if
for it to be
Mr.
persistent.
Destiny said, "Hey
But no,
Corey,
no, wait. What do you mean by that? You don't have to subscribe. You just have to. You're
You
like
just
some.
have to have an account. You
you're
don't
some-
have to be an active payer for your stuff to be
You're
there.
some AI father who just knows your character exists and that's enough for you.
I have
Like,
a-
I don't understand what that means. Like, how is this meaningful?
I have
Corey
a-
logged off to get a pack of cigarettes one day.
Yeah,
and never
right? Like,
I have
like,
an idea.
why
and
is
I
this
think,
meaningful? Why,
I have an idea.
What
and I
about
think,
it? If so, wait. If
Why,
you're not,
why don't
if
you
you're
just
not
delete your
paying
character
for it-
every time you play Destiny?
If you're not,
Just
well,
delete it.
you could talk to my fiance. She does that fucking all the time.
Oh my god, she restarted Destiny because of that.
I have
She's done it more than once. But here's the thing: like, I guess I like, and I mean this. I'm not just trying to be like contrarian. I actually do want to know kind of like the reasoning behind this. Warcraft creates an inherently meaningful experience due to the character and gear preservation.
Yes.
And Destiny has presented an inherently unmeaningful experience because the character and gear will ultimately be disposable within 2 years. But from everything you've told me about Warcraft, the character only exists if you pay to play it.
no,
So-
it's always there.
Right,
But
it's always there, but
to
you would
play
never
it-
know. Yes, but
to
if a
play
tree
it, you
falls
have
in
to
the
pay.
forest. But
to
my
be
question
fair,
is,
if they said Destiny 3 is coming out next year, you can keep your character and all of your equipment.
No
And
problem.
it would just migrate forward.
No
If-
problem.
Hold
No
on,
problem.
Hold on.
but why?
No, I didn't finish my sentence. You said no problem. I didn't even tell you
Now
the
we have a problem.
stipulations.
You've already got him.
Destiny 3 is coming out tomorrow, but you can only migrate your character if you buy the Legendary Edition.
Okay, now we have a problem.
Wait, which is
Legend-
interesting because you have always seemed to decry systems that require you to basically be like, fuck you, pay me. But the system you think is best is the fuck you, pay me system. Whereas Destiny's like, here's Destiny 2. You keep your character till Destiny 2 is done and we'll release a sequel. But that's not a fuck you, pay me system. The fuck you, pay me
No, it
system is
is.
wow. No, it's not.
not.
It's
It's really
not.
not.
It's not because by your own admission, the character is the character through the game, regardless of what
It's
you
fuck
do.
you, pay me if you want your character to continue.
Well, and not
Well,
only
no,
that,
there's not even really an
no,
option
I'm
to do
sorry,
that.
to continue through the expansions. You have to pay for the expansions.
Yeah.
That's what I
but,
mean,
But
but-
WoW pays.
requires you
Yeah.
to do the same thing.
WoW requires you to do the same thing
Expansions
plus
and monthly.
plus a monthly
Yeah.
subscription, and the monthly subscription is really a fuck you, pay me for the character. So why is that okay to you?
Okay,
and
I'll-
Destiny is somehow fucking you.
Okay, here's
because
why.
they don't give you the option to be intimidated by this mafia that WoW has gotten going. Of be ashamed of, hey, nice character, be ashamed if something happened to it.
Right.
and want whatever $15 a month.
We're gonna take
15
10. We're gonna take 100 gold out of your bank
Re-
account
really,
unless you
it's-
pay
it's-
us $15 a month.
It's no different than the mafia community be like, yeah, it's a nice daughter you got there. $15 a month keeps you alive. Like, it's the same theory.
Well, no, it's not, because the character is fine if you don't pay the sub. I've left the game for 2 years at a time and come back and all my shit was there.
Right, but you have to pay the sub.
Right, because you're playing the game.
to play. Your character's
Yeah,
there.
you have to pay the sub to
play.
see your daughter.
Yeah.
If you'd like to
So the
see
mom,
your daughter,
so it's even worse. So what you're saying is the mom stole your child. So
It's
the mom
always
took
there.
your kid. Mom took your kid and went.
I'm not saying I want to
you
play
can
my
see-
WoW character in all games.
The
I'm
mom
saying
took
if I,
your character. The mom took your kid and went. You could see your kid for a price.
right, and here's the other
they did
alternative.
you
this.
can't see David's money hands.
It's a money hands.
Here's the other
Like,
option,
I
right?
just don't understand why this is, of all the things that are egregious to you, I don't know why
That's the
this
one
is.
that's-
The-
not only are you okay with it, it's the one you're wishing other people did.
To-
You're like, I wish Destiny did
to
this.
to give
I'm
a
like,
to give a
this
very
seems like a nightmare.
to give a very basic understanding, you spend hundreds of hours on a character. It is your character
Yeah,
through
as
and
long
through.
as the mob gets his taste.
unless
Yeah.
unless you're paying, or as long as you're paying. But I get it.
Here's the
Like,
thing: when I'm subbed to WoW, I'm not playing other games. So that $15 a month is 100% of
Oh,
my
I'm not
entertainment
asking you
budget.
just for the
No,
cost.
it's-
I'm
it's-
asking
No,
why
that- no,
this
no.
system is okay.
Now let me explain why
it's
this
not-
system is okay.
It's okay because
It's not,
they,
by the way. I've always thought subs were dumb.
It's okay because they need it.
No. I've always thought subs were dumb.
Steve, wait.
But
It's-
here we go.
it's dumb.
Here we
Steve,
go.
get him, Steve.
No,
Steve,
hold on.
Steve, get him.
It's dumb,
get him.
but so am I.
Steve, get him.
World of Warcraft doesn't
Steve!
threaten to delete your character if you don't buy the expansion. But in Destiny 1, if I
threatens
had
to
a
do-
character, it's fucked because
no,
Destiny
my
2's
my
out.
Destiny 1 character's still good.
It's still
Really? Does
sitting
anybody
there.
play it?
No.
Because now you have two platforms.
Oh, Chuck Hughes.
But what-
Oh,
Chuck
what have we
Hughes.
done?
But
What have we done?
You don't subscribe, Corey.
But
the
does anybody-
character's still there
You
somewhere in some kind of ether.
split your
But
500,000
does it-
subscriber base into
But
two
does
groups.
anybody
But
still
Corey-
play World of Warcraft? Because I
Yeah.
fucking don't.
Yeah,
Do you?
but Corey,
I did last month.
my Destiny character is safe on a PlayStation somewhere. It's fine.
Is
I'm
anybody
not
playing it?
But it's fine. That's not the point.
Can I-
though.
Th-
This
can
is
I-
also my-
Philosophically,
this is
I'm not
also
using it.
this is my Activision rant.
I'll
Ready for
also-
it? Here's Call of Duty.
Oh my God.
Here's Destiny.
I'll
Side by
al-
side.
I'll also say that
sitting in a
my-
tree.
Hey, say what you will about Call of Duty, but I can still play Soap anytime I want.
I'll also say that my Grand Theft Auto 3 character is still on a memory card somewhere out there. I'm not paying monthly. He's there.
Amazing.
He's waiting.
Amazing.
He's waiting for me.
That's not an
Don't you
might
switch
return.
Call of Duty? I can play McTavish anytime I want.
Once upon a
Hey,
time.
there's always no Russian. I can go right now.
Right. That's single player. Moving on. I tried to play Call of Duty 4. Yeah, the Call of Duty 4.
Modern Warfare.
Modern
one.
Warfare.
Yeah.
I tried to play it online. I couldn't find any servers. I didn't
Because
have anybody to play
the-
with. The game's dead.
No,
Now
the-
this happened months after
The remaster
Call of
came
Duty
out.
Modern Warfare 2 came out.
dies, Corey.
Everything dies.
No. This is a shooter. This is just a shooter.
It's a
Yeah,
shooter.
they got shot.
Shooters never
Everything
die.
dies, Agent Mulder. I don't know what to tell you.
I went online today and I tried to find a System Shock server.
Right.
I don't know how to tell you this. I found one and it kept crashing.
I sell a game.
What do you want out of games?
Let me tell you.
Corey, I think
I
you
don't
want too
know.
much. You hate mobile games, but then you play them. You hate subscriptions, but then you pay them.
Get him, Brian.
Figure it out.
Testify.
Sick Rex
Figure it
coming
out,
in.
boy.
But Destiny 2 let you port your character over.
No, it didn't.
No, it
Yes.
lets you. It lets you port your
Hi, I'm a PC
customization-
player. I didn't get that
customization, but not
That's
your
on you.
items, right? Not
Also,
your
what?
level,
Did you get
nothing.
your exotics?
It let you port your character over.
Mods
and if
in
you
chat.
think
Your model?
if you think if you think the gun defines the character, you're doing this wrong.
What's a good run for a game? 3 years, 4 years, 5 years? How long do you think is reasonable?
A good run.
It's
I
$60,
would
so I equate it to other media. So a movie is $15 to $20. A comic is $3 to $5. A book is $10 to $20. So per hour, $60 should get you 10 to 20 hours. So if every $60 you get 10 to 20 hours of entertainment,
I've spent
That's-
a
that's-
lot of money.
that's an equivalent to all other media.
I've
So-
spent a lot of money on
Right.
games, and I've gotten a lot of. I've
So
gotten
if
a
you
lot
got
of.
10 to 20
less.
hours out of Destiny 2, get ready, boy. Destiny 3's coming. I don't
I've
have to tell you,
played. I've
like-
played a lot of $10 to $15 games
Yeah.
that lasted me years.
Same.
That's great, but
years.
that's not the
I
norm,
know it's
and
not the
that's
norm.
also
It's
not the
not.
price point. I mean, that's
I've also most $60 games last me a day
Yeah,
to 2
and I-
days because I get bored.
and I spent
and
$10
they're-
on Casablanca, and I've watched it a bunch of times. But it's unfair of me to then look at a movie that's even halfway decent that costs twice as much that I watched once and be like, "Well, you know Casablanca." Well, no shit, you know Casablanca.
Destiny 2 is in year 2, which means that by the current pacing established, Destiny
2020.
3 will come out. Yeah.
Nothing will change.
The thing that made me
but
not like
for
the game.
$400, you can import your Destiny 2 character.
I love how it goes up every time.
The thing that made
By
me not
end
like
of
the
this,
game was how
for
hard
the
it
cost
was.
of an iPhone X, you can have your Destiny character come over.
How much would it cost me to import RoboCop?
You can't. But for
How much would it cost me
$400
to import Murphy?
for $460, if you had a character named Murphy in Destiny 2,
Brian's pretty pro-capitalist.
back.
Brian's a real Randian over here. He's like, yes, but the worker is but the fool to the capitalist hero.
have you ever woken up and realized that you needed money? So how do you earn money? You charge $500 if you want to transfer your Destiny 2 character to Destiny 3.
Brian's just an objectivist.
So how about Warframe, Brian?
If only,
You tried that game
If only
out.
the government get out of the way of his
Uh,
building, or whatever the fuck happens.
Warframe would
in
have
the
been fun
Fountainhead.
if I paid a couple.
How much money do you think
20
you had to pay?
Warframe would have been fun had you paid the $550 necessary to import your Destiny 2 character.
Now Warframe 2.
Can I put my Mass Effect
Warframe-
character into Warframe?
Warframe
No
2.
sale.
What?
Warframe 2 is my new favorite game. It only cost me $25 to import my character from Warframe to Warframe 2. Included all the gear, all the banners, everything.
Damn, what a deal.
Anyway, so Corey, I get that you don't like Destiny, but for $600, my final offer, you could totally transfer your character.
You had me at the original offer, which was $60 and everything comes over. But
No,
that's
it's
not the
150.
case.
The original was 150.
The original was
It's 150.
It was 60.
It'll always be
Then it was
150.
130.
150 gets you a maybe canvas.
Why aren't you in mobile app
vinyl.
development yet?
I'm so good at this that they couldn't find a number to pay me, so they just fired me.
That's why you make your own.
You were too good.
$200, you get your Fallout 76. It comes with your Destiny 2 character import, a grocery bag, and a plastic helmet.
The problem is
Fuck you, give me money.
The problem is that Brian was going to be hired by Activision, and they sat down in the room, and he went, for $100,000 a year, you can hire me. And they went, sounds great. And then he went for $200,000 a year, you can hire me. They were like, well, that's a little high. Maybe we should talk about it. He went for $300,000 a year, you can hire me. And they're like, we love
and
that.
I will bring all of my previous documents with me.
And they were like, we love that work ethic, but this is serious. And he went for $400,000, you can hire me. And they went, you really need to stop now. And he went for $500,000, you can hire me. They were like, you're just joking. This is really funny. They tried to pull it back. They tried to be decent human beings. You were like, for $600,000, you can hire me.
And that's
they
what
were
security
like,
was
this
called.
isn't funny.
And at that
then,
point, I said,
"Sir."
for $700,000, I won't leave this room.
And they were like, I'm sorry, but this is just inappropriate
Security
at
is
this point.
coming. Realistically,
$2 million, you can hire me.
Realistically,
no, we're not doing that. For $4 million, I'll leave this room.
Then you're like, fine, $66K and some stock options. And they were like, it's way too late for that.
Realistically, though, at this point, you know what you sign up for when you buy a game. Every game has stipulations. Every game has DLC, and it sucks, but that is the market we live in.
But here's the thing. I already bought Destiny. I don't pay a sub. I can't just say, oh, fuck this, I'm out, and cancel my sub. I already paid in advance.
So it's almost like World of Warcraft has kidnapped your daughter.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks for bringing it back.
If you'd like to see your daughter, just play Destiny 3. For $700, you can port your character directly from Destiny 2. All of his gear. His Iron Banner.
That's why I don't play the game
Anyway,
anymore.
so
they retroactively did some
it's
shit.
gonna happen.
The game's not fun to play anymore. I'm not
how
playing
you-
Destiny 3. Steve, you have a lot of exotics and
So-
unlocks and stuff in Destiny 2, right?
Sure.
Do you give a tenth of a shit about just fuck it, I don't have any of that going into Destiny 3?
For $4,000, all of it will come to Destiny 3.
No, but like, does that even
That
matter?
was a substantial jump. I
All
don't know
of
that
it.
my
We're
manager
here to
will
sell,
sign
sir.
off on that.
All of it.
All of it.
Anyway, Corey, to answer your question, would I be okay with losing it? Honestly, kinda. It wouldn't really bother me that much for no other reason than it's honestly half the fun of playing looter shooters is chasing the gear.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean half the fun of doing it is actually going after and working
That's
towards
all you
that
needed.
gear.
We've been
So-
talking for 2 hours about money, and you said it's fun, and we're done.
All right.
It's only been an hour, actually. I know it felt
shitting
like
me right now.
it's an,
I was gonna say Corey said all he wants is fun. So for $6,000, you get your character and fun.
Welcome to
That's a deal.
deal. Sold. Corey's buying Destiny 3. Brian, high five. Brian. Woo!
Done. Just to be fair, he bought the edition at $150 when I said it. I didn't even finish my sentence, and he said sold.
Yeah,
That's
but
what makes you a great salesman. You keep selling.
we just keep selling. The tenet of a good salesman
done it. We've done it.
is to never take yes for an answer.
half an hour.
This is the Cattywampus sales cast. We are now rich, so I guess we don't have to do this anymore.
Until
Brian
the
and
check bounces.
On that note, I've been Brian.
I've been David.
I think I'm Steve.
I am no longer Corey.
He had to change his identity because he doesn't want to pay us for our
doesn't
awesome
wanna-
Destiny 3 package.
You've been listening to Cattywampus. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Tumblr at CattyWampusPod. Email us at cattywampuspodcast@gmail.com. Music by Tilly.